October 10th is globally celebrated as World Mental Health Day. It is a day set aside to engage in advocacy, share lives experience of people with mental illness, promotion of mental well-being, prevention of illness, and addressing some of the mental health issues. This year's theme is captured mental health for all, greater investment, greater access for everyone in everywhere. And it was observed with press conference and street-to-street awareness campaign organized by the SALMHI, Save and Love Mental Health Initiative with the Department of Mental Health UPTH at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, UPTH, CHOBA, Rivers State, Nigeria. The founder of SALMHI, Save and Love Mental Health Initiative, Sir Amos Daminabo at Moyedia, gave a brief speech and urged everyone over the tasks ahead.
Our work is as simple as the theme for this year's World Mental Health Day. Mental health for all. And our work is mental health for all Nigerians. We believe that every Nigerian, irrespective of who you are, where you are, you can have access to mental health. And that is why we are not just in Port Harcourt or Rivers State, but we are in every part of Nigeria. What we are doing today will be done tomorrow in Abuja and in some other part of the country. We want to inform all of us, mental health for all is not just for the government. Neither is it just for those who have mental health or that have been diagnosed with mental health. It is for you seated here and for me standing to address you. I'd like to inform all of us that if we sit and close our hands without saying anything, this thing will end after today. But if we stand up and shout and say something, this thing will run and run and run. And by so doing, people will know about mental health. I was discussing with a consultant psychiatrist, Dr. N.U. Ekele, and he told me that 48 million Nigerians are currently depressed. This was just 2 weeks ago. If 48 million Nigerians are currently depressed, it means that is almost 1 in 4 Nigerians. As we are, if you look at us, some of us, even seated here, will be depressed. What do we do about it? Today's theme is a call for all of us to put in our investment, greater access. As a medical practitioner, do you also give greater access to those who come to you? As a member of the press, do you give that to NGOs like us and to people who come to you that have mental health issues? As individuals, what have you done to help mental health? Today, we are saying, everyone, everywhere, especially in this hall, you have a role to play for mental health. Today, stand up, play that role that we are asking of. Sahil, if you think as an individual you cannot, Sahil have a space for you. We have a space for professionals in the field so that if they are members of Sahil, because Sahil runs medical online program and we reach to those that we cannot get in this hall, but everybody who press their phone at one time or the other, you can just come and speak for Sahil for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes, and it will go around where you think you may not go. As members of the press, you can help us and run this slogan for us that mental health is curable. It is not a death sentence. Run it for us so that people will not think that only those who are naked and running on the streets have mental health. And they will know that even those who are naked and running on the streets, if they have treatment, they will have mental health. Join us so that we can take this level We can move from here to the government. We can move from here to the house and make sure that that bill for mental health is passed. Professionals, please join us. Those who are not professionals, we also have counselors. You can be a counselor with us. You can be a social worker. Even as a pressman, you can be a press counselor with us, so that we can move this bill, we can move mental health from where we are to the next level where we think we can take it to. Thank you and God bless.
The main speaker, Professor Prince Will C. Stanley, Chairman, Medical Advisory Committee UPTH, mounted the podium for the lecture on the theme, Mental Health for All.
HIS program to become a more transparent and all-inclusive with respect to mental illness, to reduce disabilities and the years lost to disabilities. And the above are achievable goals and the milestones if we're able to set targets and to remain focused. We will attain them. Now I want to ask a few questions. Where are we? We are somewhere. And have we reached everyone? No. We are somewhere, moving. We are charting a course, or rather quite slowly. We are yet to meet our target. What is the target like? The target we're expecting is a time when there is a full activation of the process of scaling down the treatment for mentally ill persons from the apex of healthcare delivery, which is the tertiary institutions, down to the secondary, comprehensive healthcare centers and the general hospitals. When you begin to have health personnel that are well trained in mental ill, in the treatment of the mentally ill or mental health.
Followed by other co-speakers, Dr. Osika and Dr. Nkbobu.
We have seen cases where people with mentally ill and their families are both ejected from their homes. Once you have somebody that's mentally ill, you're trying to hide it, eject those people, they don't allow them. And you see them moving from one accommodation to the other. Somebody that is not mentally ill is likely to spend a longer length of time on his or her rented apartment than the person that is mentally ill or the family of those that are mentally ill. Next, and these ones are the subtle ones. Why do you think that he mentioned about primary health, integration of psychiatric services, bring it to the secondary and take it down to the primary? Why? Why are we not achieving that? Central to that, that's the truth, and it must be told, is the issue of stigmatization and discrimination. Amongst other things, central is because they are discriminated against, even at policy levels. Why are those policies not there? Why is it taking so long for us to have this mental bill passed? Discrimination. Why I know the effort that Prof and his team had to go through to do what? To establish the mental health department. And also know the problem the present HOD may be facing. If not that, I know from Prof there and the CMD that they are friends of mental health department. I think a round of applause for the CMD and his team. If not, you will discover that what somebody is O&G and surgery will go and discuss once and get. Somebody mental health department will go and discuss 3, 4, 5 times before you can get access. Those are the subtle, discrimination we face at the higher level. 2 days ago, precisely, I was listening to one of the early morning shows in some of the media houses. And I tuned in. And I listened to it for barely 5-6 minutes. And in that space of 5-6 minutes, madness is insane was mentioned up to 5 times. And everybody that did that, he said that it's insane, it's a madman. 5 times in 6 minutes. Do the mathematics and the statistics. So in 1 hour, you understand how many times people have discriminated against mental illness. Very quickly, before I round, I want to say, if you have somebody that is mental, don't lock him or her up. Bring him or her for treatment. If we get, be surprised, if we get a warrant, and they say, let us go to Harcourt here and start all the homes, you'll be surprised at the number of homes that have the mentally ill locked in and tucked in one corner. That is wrong. That is not healthy. Clear and practical. Not long ago, a family living in the GRO here brought a patient over the weekend. And why did they bring the patient? They brought the patient because a social event was going to take place. It's a male. The sister, the younger sister, was going to get married. And they didn't want people to know that they had a mentally ill in their compound, in their home. And they brought him. They did not bring him for treatment. All they brought is, they say, for custodial sake. Say, hospital, please, keep this guy for the weekend. We have a marriage ceremony. When that ceremony is over, we will come and pick him back and let him continue with his state. Fortunately for that guy, that was his deliverance. Deliverance in terms of mental health, not in terms of this. That was what saved him. He came in from there, got treatment, and got well. And today, he's living a useful life. Just yesterday, in the clinic, Dr. Kwesa, one of those boys I saw, a 20-year-old undergraduate, 20-year-old, that came with the mom, with symptoms suggesting clearly of mental illness. I'm not going to go into label now. But he came with the mother only. And I asked in the process, why is it that the dad is not here? And there was no mention of the dad, why the whole discussion was going on. And the guy said, they told me that he has been having these symptoms for a very long time. In fact, not long ago, he almost took a knife and stabbed himself in the chest. And I guess because of the work that Mpobu, Fisola, and all the rest have been doing with all these radio stations on 18th, he realized that the fact that these symptoms is having is suggestive of mental illness. Let him go and see the psychiatrist. Of course, as the tradition is, before doing that, he needed to tell his father and take permission from the dad. So he told his dad that, Daddy, these things I'm feeling, I think I will need to see those people that deal with the mind, the psychiatrist. Before the guy could finish, the dad has landed a heavy slap on him. Boy! Jesus Christ. What? How can you in my house say you want to go to the psychiatrist? And he now told the boy, are you mad? Now the boy had to show him that he was mad. So he took the glass, table that they had, and raised it up and smashed it. And they were now rushing to see the dad. And he said at that time, all he was seeing was just blood. It was then the father said, please, go. If you can go now. But if you can, please, tomorrow, go and see the psychiatrist. So I would say, even the people don't want to be associated. So these are the things that stigma and stigmatization does. Having said all this, I want us to understand. We're talking about access as the big picture, greater access. But there is a negative relationship, what some will call reverse relationship, others will call inverse relationship, between access to mental health services and stigma and stigmatization. If we must reduce stigmatization, we must increase access to mental health services. For us to invest more into mental health services, okay, and reduce stigmatization, we must reduce stigmatization at policy level. At policy level, so that they can create more infrastructure, for people to go and receive the services they need. The statement is saying greater investment. Without investment, there is no profit. So if we want to profit in mental health, we must invest in mental illness. And most times, that's why the World Health Organization came with a vision on this investment, where they envisioned a world where mental health will be valued, promoted, and protected. And where persons with mental illness can exercise full range of human rights and have access to quality health and social services in a timely manner that will promote recovery. All these are done in order to achieve the highest level of health possible, and to be able to participate in society.
With so much speed, by August this year, it rose to 63% of adults in the US reporting that their mental health was negatively affected. Now, haven't given a brief of what COVID-19, the burden COVID-19 has unleashed on us globally. What does this entail for mental health? So, burden of mental health, when you view this, especially against the backdrop that investment has been abysmal globally, and that is what informed the choice of this year's theme for Mental Health Day. That's why I said that that to us it's like COVID-19 is blessing in disguise for mental health, because not much attention was given to mental health, but even at the highest level of policy globally. But fortunately, they are waking up now, because they have seen the number of people that have come down with mental health disorders during this COVID-19. So most countries, as my boss has said, he said less than 3%. I used to think that it's less than 2% budget. So, but it's my boss, so I will take his own statistics. Less than 3% budget by many countries of the budget devoted to health. Out of that budget, let's say it's 100%. Take the one that is given to health. Out of 100% of what is given to health, they will bring out 3% to give to mental health. So abysmal. That's the highest level of stigmatization, according to my boss. So there have been outcry, because this is far from what needs to keep mental health. I always say, my representative of the CMAC said that the mind is the foundation upon which every other thing should be built. And I'm also concurring. I'm saying that when the mind is well, the body is well. If you follow this statement, where should this budget go to? Larger part of this budget should go to maintain the mind, because it is only when the mind is healthy that you can even do all the other work. But we have been misplacing priority. I think with the choice of this year's theme, this is going to change. International development assistance, also so sad. What they give to mental health has not been more than 1%. All those aids, donations, assistance, out of which we give 1%. In 2001, 150 million people were said to suffer from mental health disorders. But as I talk to you now currently, from 2001 now 2020, the figure has risen to 1 billion people in the world now suffering from mental health. The current population of the world is about going close to 7 billion. So out of 7 billion, 1 billion people are suffering from mental health disorder. I think this figure is alarming and it's frightening. That's almost more than 20% of the world's population. And those with severe mental disorder tend to die about 10 to 20 years earlier compared to the general population. Close to 80% of people die by suicide, we know that, and that's equivalent to one person dying every 40 seconds. It's part of mental health. So, what about the access for mental health facilities? Few people, upon these statistics that I'm giving, as my boss has said, only a little percentage, positive of number, have access to mental health, especially in low and middle resource countries where about 30% of total global bodies have been said to be attributed to mental disorder, substance abuse, and neurological problems. In 2018, the World Economic Forum brought out a figure that was also alarming. They said that mental health could cost the global economy up to $16 trillion between 2010 and 2030. Mental health disorder will cost the global economy $16 trillion US dollars between 2010 and 2000. I don't think there's any other illness that could cause that. If you take our minds back, somebody that is depressed will come to office, cannot do work. So what productivity are you expecting? Somebody with anxiety will come to office, cannot do the work well. What productivity are you expecting? So, in the words of the Director General of World Health Organization, Tedros, he said that there have been historic neglect. He's making this statement now in support of this year's mental health. That is unfortunate that they have all failed, that there have been historic neglect to mental health and mental health funding. That is why they have rallied round everybody this year. They have even opened the social media. Anybody who has anything on mental health in the whole world should post it. They want to give a boost, a large social media boost to mental health. So that's where we are. So this year, that is their plan. What is the way forward? We are advising that government should invest in building or providing mental health facilities. Look at Port Harcourt, River State, that's about up to 7 million people. How many mental health facilities do we have? This department that is in this big hospital, and where we go, that's all. How many can you, so if you get to Rumigo, you can see like 300 people coming to clinic one day. And it's also like that here, close to that here. So the number is really amazing. We are also advising that government should invest in training of all cadre of mental health professionals. My boss has listed the poor figures that we have. So I will not go over that. Make favorable laws that will help to destigmatize mental health and substance abuse, just like Dr. Sika has said. There are laws that will better the lots of mental health practitioners and even the mentally ill. So for that note, we have also advised that there's a mental health bill that will lie fallow in successive National Assembly. Let them dust it and pass it into law. It will go a great deal in reducing the stigma. They should increase funding for mental health. And as we said, that is not more than 3%. I want to suggest that the funding for health generally, that is still about 5%, could be moved or should be moved to up to 15%. And then out of that 15%, then 5% could be given to mental health. I'm also suggesting that international development aids that usually devote less than 1% to mental health will help to move their quota to like 3%. What is the benefit of investing in mental health. I will shock you with this statement. Investing in mental health will tremendously reward everyone globally. Studies have shown, as I end, that every $1 that is invested or spent on evidence-based care for depression, I'm not talking of other mental health disorders, depression alone and anxiety, will yield $5. Are you seeing the profit? That is a study that was done. If you invest $1 in treating somebody with depression and anxiety, you will get $5 profit. That is the way to go. On this note, I want to thank everybody. Thank you and God bless you.
At the end of the lecture, some questions were asked by members of the press and delegates during the press conference. Street-to-street awareness campaign were carried out by the members of Save and Love Mental Health Initiative, SALMHI.
Hello everyone! We're celebrating World Mental Health Day. UPTH University of Harcourt Mental Health Department is celebrating World Mental Health Day. We defend mental health for all, greater investment, greater access, everyone, everywhere. Are you suffering from psychological problems? Please come to us. We are your mental health advocates. Are you suffering from any stressor? Come to us. Are you facing workplace burnout? Come to us. Do not lock yourself in there. Do not lock yourself. Bring your person, your relation to mental health facility.
We are here to shape you.
Life is so sweet. Do not consider suicide as an option. Don't consider suicide as an option. Mental illness is treatable. Mental illness is treatable. Do not consider suicide as an option to depression.
We don't show today that World Mental Health Day. We really need to do together because nobody really well mentally. You know where this is a social day.
Mama, when you just talk to yourself, you just talk. Your heart just did this. Somebody to bring them on UPTH. Help look me well. You go just well. So we don't make it every time. I know they sleep. Now I walk. Even if you know those people, they don't say na medicine they do am, na spiritual they go tire, lose am, carry am come. Na the work wey we dey do. What are you doing? We say one knot. We sabi the tighten the knot. Now I walk. We dey reset pray wey don start and now we dey do am the same way. Now I walk. Every day when you avoid alcohol, avoid tramadol. Most things like they follow the spoil person. Avoid tramadol, avoid pay attention to your own mind.
complete or some and the insurance, if you care, every time you care, your night,
beginning to begin to fall in
According to your size, do not aim to sow 1,000 naira gap, whereas you have 20 naira, and be expecting the 80 naira from the other brother. If the brother fail you, and heartbreak, and depression, please, we UPTH, University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, in conjunction with SALMHI, here celebrates World Mental Health Day. As you do this, may the Lord be with you. Thank you. You have helped.
Some distinguished guests and participants gave a predefined remark as regards to this year 2020 World Mental Health Day.
Today, it's a day set aside by the United Nations to celebrate the World Mental Health Day. It's used to assess our level or do an evaluation of where we are and where we are going to. Incidentally, this year's theme, it's referred to greater investment, greater access, everyone, everywhere. And the issue we discussed as a topic today as part of this occasion, it's the availability of mental health for all. And this has become quite a worrisome issue for the single fact that the world is under the pressure of mentally ill persons unknown to it. Because from the statistics we have, about 30% of the world population is suffering from a mental illness, one or the other. It may be a very escalated one, it may be a minor one, it may be a medium-sized one, but the issues remain that there are obvious mental health challenges ranging from anxiety, phobias, depressive illness, and frank psychotic disorders. So even adjustment disorders and drug and substance abuse. In the lecture I gave, it was clear that the years lost to disability appears to be surpassing altogether the communicable diseases and the non-communicable with violence. All the disabilities, these three major disorders could bring to mankind, that the disorders or disability arranging or arising from mental illness will surpass them according to the statistical prediction by the end of 2020. That simply means that there is a need for an urgent reassessment of where we are and the awareness of the policymakers, particularly where it affects the budgeting for mental health and also health as a whole, to wake up from slumber and address this issue, because it is an obvious danger to humanity and to the nations of the world, and even in our own nation, Nigeria. So you complain too much about yes, the total budget for health in Nigeria is just barely about 6%. And out of that 6%, health, mental health, is given just about 3% from that 6%. And even if you understand all the policy and the politics of budget, it's not the amount that is budgeted that is released. There is what we call budgetary allocation and we call the other one actual release. Most of the times, not up to 30% of the budget value is released. And out of this mega sum, a mega percentage of 3 is only allocated to mental health from the total 6% or less than 3% that has already been released. So these are the dangers we need to confront. These are the dangers we need to probably realize and begin to do the needful so that this nation will not crumble under the heavy weight of mental illnesses. Yeah. The call for government, where if the government must be alive to its responsibility, I want to say this and say it very clearly, that it has to sit down with stakeholders, particularly of health and of mental health, and ensure adequate allocation that will address the issues of defects and decay in the area of training, human capacity training for all cadre of mental health professionals, and even for acquisition of vital equipment and also upgrading the facilities that are available, then scale up or scale down. Not bringing all issues of mental health to the tertiary institutions. There must be a functional medium, that is secondary and general hospitals and comprehensive health centers must function. The primary health care scheme must come to life, not a matter of figment of political maneuvering. It must be an actual thing seen on ground and must remain and outlive various policies and governments, because it should be an institutionalized form of operation and not with individuals. It should be patterned along the line of foundations, institutions, and framework of operationability.
What do you have to say concerning this mental health in our society? Do you think it's improving or it's not?
To some certain extent, it might be improving, because mental health per se is an individualistic issue, because one person's state of mind definitely will be different from another person's state of mind. So there is no general yardstick to measure mental health, because it differs from individual to individual. It's also to a certain extent environmental. Somebody in a balanced environment definitely will have a better mental health than somebody in a deprived environment. So it differs from individual to individual.
So how can we boost it as individuals and corporate bodies?
Individuals, it starts from the home. Proper moral instructions, proper upbringing. In our schools, I know when I was in school, there was a subject called moral instruction. It can still be brought back. Discipline should be emphasized in school. Reasonable discipline, not punishment, because there's a great difference. Then at home, parents should learn to love their children. As the child goes out, it's easy to tell a child that is loved and one that isn't. So this transcends and it helps to a great extent. So it starts from the home. When this child grows, goes to school, the child spreads it and shows it. From there to maybe higher institution, to whatever job opportunity or business the person might be engaged, it shows. That's why we say some people are more cautious than others. Some people are calmer than others. It starts from the home.
So what do you have to say concerning the discrimination of mental ill?
That's it's mental health on its own. Because if you don't know it is wrong to laugh at someone who has a problem, then you have a mental problem. Because that's why I said the home. There are certain homes that will tell you these things are wrong, don't do them. And they go further. By each time, like if you enter the social location, you'll find some mothers, just by mere winking of the eye, they are communicating with their siblings and their children. That home has developed a way of controlling the child mentally. You will see, even before the child accepts something from someone, will look at the mother first or father. That's a form of mental control. Now, a child that wasn't even told that it's wrong to mock somebody, You know, some parents take it for granted. There are certain things they don't discuss or stress with children. That person will go out and feel there's nothing there. It's my opinion. What's there? What have I done wrong? For you not to know that what you are doing is evil is a form of mental health too. Because you have to be cancelled for you to realize you have a problem and then it be solved.
Today being 9th of October 2020, which is being tagged as World Mental Health Day, can you tell us what causes mental illness and how can it be prevented?
What causes mental illness? Well, that's a very broad group of things. We have not been able to say this is a particular thing that causes mental illness, but we know that there are some risk factors, what we call risk factors, that predispose people to mental illness. Things like adversity, adverse socioeconomic conditions, chronic medical illnesses, generally life's difficult situations, although sometimes even positive events can predispose mental illness. But I should talk a little about World Mental Health Day, which is officially tomorrow. But today, being a working day, here we are marking our event today. But tomorrow, October 10th, every year is marked as the World Mental Health Day. The essence of having the World Mental Health Day is for promotion and prevention, so that we will not even be talking about illnesses. We need to promote mental health. There is good mental health. Is when mental health is not so good, they are talking about illnesses. So the essence of World Mental Health Day is to talk about those issues that are affecting mental health.
Founder Sahil, Save and Love Mental Health Initiative. Sahil.
Okay, so can you throw more light on the Sahil?
Okay, Sahil is an NGO, a non-governmental organization that is into destigmatization of mental health. We are also in advocacy, counseling and education. We try to make it that everyone in Nigeria will have access to mental health, either through counseling or through medical means.
Okay. So, sir, can you tell us how we can boost our mental health?
First of all, for you to boost your mental health, you need to help yourself. Help yourself in the sense that you must do all the sanitary things that you need to do. You must sleep when it's time for you to sleep, rest when it's time for you to rest, and walk when it's time for you to walk.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Sir, please, what do you have to say concerning the discrimination of people that are mentally ill?
What we have to say concerning the discrimination of people that are mentally ill is that everyone at one point or the other have one trace of mental illness or the other in his or her own life. So we are saying that people should stop discriminating people that has mental health disorder, because by doing that we will save more lives, we will bring them back to the society, and tomorrow most of them will be better people in the society. So let us rise up at this point, join hands together and stop the destigmatization of mental health and bring people that are suffering from mental health to normal health.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for your time. And what do you have to say concerning the program we had today?
Okay, today we are celebrating World Mental Health Day. It's a day celebrated globally, all over the world. We are trying to create awareness, telling people that to be aware of against social stigmatization.
Please tell us your name.
I'm Alphonsus Elizabeth.
Okay. Please, can you tell us what we just had now?
We just have World Mental Health Day celebration approved by World Health Organization. The actual date is 10th October, but Saturday is not a working day, so we'll have to do it a day before, which is 9th October.
Okay. Can you throw more light on this World Mental Health Day?
World Mental Health Day is a day done in remembrance of the day it was approved that mental health people should be attended to, probably in the world and in Africa, then in Nigeria. So we celebrate this day every day to mark it. Even Prof gave us a lecture on that today.
Okay, thank you very much, ma, for your time.
Finally, mental health is for all. You too can get involved by joining the conversation around mental health, by helping to promote mental health. helping to reduce stigma and discrimination around mental health. Hence, if you find anyone with this mental illness, take he or her to SALMHI, Save and Love Mental Health Initiative, or you can reach SALMHI through the phone numbers on the screen. Anytime, any moment. You can also follow them on their social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Save and Love Mental Health Initiative. I'm Money Promise X, Be My TV, Port Harcourt.